Which actor most squandered an otherwise promising career? Emile Hirsch after he choked an executive at Sundance. Katie Holmes had so many projects going until she got with Tom Cruise. Jennifer Grey, Dirty Dancing, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, was sensitive about her large nose because of her school years and early acting career. With Dirty Dancing being a hit, she finally had the money to get herself rhinoplasty. Unfortunately, Hollywood disagreed and felt she lost her distinctive look. She was deemed too plain for the big screen and couldn't build off her success. She continued working but didn't get to have a career as leading lady. This thread has me constantly having to stop and Google people lol. Thora Birch. Though I suppose she didn't squander it so much as her parents sabotaged it. Ja Rule turned down an offer to remain in the Fast and the Furious franchise after the original movie because he thought they were lowballing him with their offer. After he turned them, they wrote in a new character to fill the slot in script that Ja Rule would have had and gave the part to Ludacris. Matthew Fox pretty much did nothing after Lost. Lilo Brancato. He broke out in A Bronx Tale, was a good supporting character in Crimson Tide, and had a recurring role in The Sopranos. He became addicted to heroin and was involved in a home invasion robbery where his accomplice murdered the off-duty police officer living there. Promising career right down the toilet like in Trainspotting. Lea Michele. The lead in the Funny Girl revival was hers for the taking, but she spent her entire career being mean and difficult to work with, and now, shocker, no one wants to work with her. With her talent, she should have taken Broadway by storm and scored the lead in a hit movie musical or two. And this isn't about her being more or less talented than anyone else in the Glee cast, but her voice and acting style were made for musical theater. I used to love Boy Meets World, and based off interviews they did after the show they all thought they would be big, but none of them got any work for a while. I think they're all working now in various fields, but I'm surprised they didn't immediately shoot up in popularity once the show ended. I heard an interview with Danielle Fishel where she basically said that at the time the show ended, she had a big ego and thought she was too good for daytime soaps, but no one else wanted to hire her. I'm paraphrasing something I read years ago, so don't quote me. / puts on shades. David Caruso. T.J. Miller fucked up real bad right when Silicon Valley was reaching its peak popularity. Back in the 80s, John Eric Hexum was on a show and was just starting to become well known when he shot himself with a blank. That is one crazy way to end a promising career in a split second. Misha Barton quit the OC because she didn't want to become typecast. The one guy who was on Matrix? Forgot his name, but he tried defaming all the actors involved when he was told he will not be coming into the sequels. He is reduced to obscurity now. Josh Hartnett, but to be fair, it was his personal choice. Surely this needs to include Danny Masterson or whatever that guy's name was from that 70s show. Combine him with the girl from Smallville and you have some serious messed up stuff. Armie Hammer. Sean Young, she did No Way Out and Blade Runner. Then she went batshit over not getting Catwoman, and after Ace Ventura faded into obscurity. Jussie Smollett has to be in the running on this one. One crazy act and he'll never work in the industry again, in addition to the legal issues it has brought him. And #X200B. He was working since 1990 and has been in some pretty big productions. He was hot stuff for a while. And #X200B. All those years of building his career, all that work and that promising future just wiped away in an evening of pure and utter insanity. WTF was he thinking? And #X200B. Completely squandered everything he had worked for, in addition to making life that bit harder for real victims of hate crimes. Edward Furlong. Terminator 2, American History X, the man was in so many great things and on his way to become a legend. Then it all went downhill. Such a shame. Terrence Howard not continuing his role as James Rhodes / War Machine in Iron Man. To be fair, Marvel was lowballing him on money for Iron Man 2, but it would have probably paid off if he continued in subsequent Iron Man / Avengers films. He still seems pretty bitter about the whole thing. Lindsay Lohan. She could have reached Emma Stone status. Brendan Fraser's career was squandered, but it wasn't his fault. https://www.upworthy.com/I-felt-fraser-ill-describes-that-nearly-made-him-quit-acting. Harrison Ford could have gone on to be a really good Finnish carpenter, even a cabinet maker. Denise Crosby playing Lieutenant Tasha Yar on Star Trek, TNG, and Jumping Ship, pun intended, just before it got really big. Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing getting a nose job. Bam Margera? He's royally fucked his career. Gary Durden, who played Warwick on CSI. I really thought he had leading man potential and was going to transition to the big screen like Clooney did. I can't believe nobody has mentioned Mickey Rourke. He was the leading man in a number of successful movies in the 80s, then left Hollywood to become a boxer. His boxing career did so much damage to his face that he required reconstructive surgery. He did return to acting, but his career never returned to anything close to the meteoric rise it had before. Dolph Lundgren. Could have been a great chemical engineer. Corey Haim. What's even sadder is that apparently his addiction is in part because he was sexually abused as a child star. George Lazenby. The guy that followed Sean Connery as James Bond and then just stopped after one film. Cuba Gooding Jr. Won an Oscar and then nothing. It is true what they say, you know your career is over when you make a movie with dogs. Edit. The line about the movie with dogs was a joke. It is what I guess could be considered an old wives' tale. There have been plenty of actors who worked with dogs that had okay careers. Tom Hanks. Chuck Norris. Jim Belushi. To name a few. It was a joke because the last movie I remember seeing CGJ in was a dog movie of which I cannot remember the name. Stuart Townsend. He had some big films where he was a lead, Queen of the Damned and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He was also cast in Lord of the Rings but lost it for some reason. Then he just disappeared. It was so weird, it really seemed like he was on the cusp of making it big. For my older Redditors, Shannon Doherty from Beverly Hills 90210. Her attitude got her tossed from that show. Her fights with Jenny Garth were famous. Then she got onto Charmed and the same thing happened with Alyssa Milano. And her career pretty much dropped after that because she was considered a bitch and too difficult to work with. And #X200B. Now, sadly, she has stage 4 terminal breast cancer. Although she claims she feels she has 10 to 15 more years to live, the fact is that she doesn't. When it spreads, she'll have months. Katherine Heigl. Brett Butler. Went from making $250,000 an episode starring in Grace Under Fire, 1993 to 1998, to a GoFundMe in 2021 so she wouldn't end up homeless. Charlie Sheen. Could have been one of the greats. Went from Platoon in 1986 to Wall Street in 1987 and then shooting his fiancée and future wife of John Travolta, Kelly Preston, in the arm accidentally by 1990. And then a series of ups and downs before we all saw the unraveling into Tiger Blood and winning 2 decades later. T.J. Miller was doing pretty good until his public freakout. Wasn't he screaming about a bomb or something? Edit, I didn't know about the brain injury, thanks. Shannon Doherty is the first one that comes to mind. Lead female role on the hottest show on TV at the time, and just couldn't stop herself from blowing it all up. It must suck to peak at an age when you're too young to appreciate it.